Hello everyone. People will say they're going to wait, but a lot of people will probably watch this later on today when they're back from work and stuff, so I'm probably just going to go for it. So first I just want to, obviously people are fully aware, I decided to take a trip to Telford to meet with the charity, families of the victims, to discuss what we can do for them. I won't go into it about everyone talking about it and everyone doing the marches and having their opinions strongly about what's going on. I just want to start by saying, I've thought very carefully about how I'm going to approach this when I do a live feed. When I got to Telford, and I sat with the charity at the beginning, and then was introduced to a lady. I'm not going to say any names, out of respect, but I met a lady whose daughter was groomed over many years, and it became very apparent to me very quickly that I needed to just put my phone down for a few days. You know, I was in I did a lot of stuff on Facebook and everything else. I thought, you know, let me just put my phone down for 2 days and let me just listen to everything that I need to, absorb everything, and then after I get back I can start talking to people about it. So first off, I want to say my thank yous to the charity, the committee, everyone that was involved in meeting me and taking the time out to come and sit with me. And the charity itself, I need to make very clear, the charity are for every single type of victim, no matter if it's from a grooming gang, online grooming, within the families. It's every single type of child abuse. They listen to people. They have people from all various different backgrounds come to them, and that's very apparent that that's what they want to do. They're not focusing on purely on one thing. It's the whole spectrum of it. I'm going to start by saying what I know, what I thought I know. Everything that we're being told, everything that we think we know, is not the truth. Everything we read, where we read newspaper articles about these gangs and what they're doing, yes, those things are happening, but the way it's being portrayed is that these men are paedophiles. That's it. They're paedophiles. They go out and do what they do because they like, abusing young girls. That couldn't be further from the truth. There is a difference between a paedophile that is sexually attracted to children, and that's his motivation for what he does. Yeah, that's what a paedophile is. What these people are, or these animals are, they are not just paedophiles, but this is their business. Now, a lot of people in these communities, from these, that are involved in this, they've obviously been watching what I'm doing, because they know I was coming to Telford, and information was being passed to me that they were trying to find out where I was, trying to find out which hotel I was in, and all these sorts of things. Because they knew that when I came there and I sat with these people from the charity, the victims, mothers, people from their families, it became very clear very quickly that this is the Pakistani mafia. Now, you might laugh at that. People might say, Pakistan. This is exactly what this is. These guys are... The exploitation of these young girls is a business more than a pleasure to them. Okay? And that's the difference between the paedophiles that are doing what they're doing because their only sole interest is their sexual preference to young children. This is a business for these Pakistanis. This pays for their houses, this pays for their cars, this pays for their holidays, this pays for their presents, this pays for every aspect of their lifestyle. Now I'm going to start by saying that the stories that I heard got me to the core. Really, I didn't sleep. The time I was there in the hotel, I didn't really sleep because I couldn't get these stories. Because I was in the area, I couldn't get the thought of where I was, and could be around the corner and this could be happening right now, and shall I go out in the car, shall I go and start looking, you know? So it was very difficult for me to deal with, to listen to this, but I had to listen to it, because I believe that what we're being told about what's going on isn't the truth. This is a business for them. This is the Pakistani mafia that run the drug trade. They run the trade of exploitation of these young girls, the human trafficking, the child trafficking of these young girls. And when people find out that this information is being these girls are being passed from place to place to place to place, the reason that's happening is because it's a business. It's like the prostitution trade. Girls are brought in and they're travelled and they're put places, and this is what they're doing. Now, the thing that became very apparent to me after speaking to the victims' mothers and hearing all these stories about what they're doing is, it's not just the Pakistanis that are to blame for this. Yes, they are the ones that are physically doing the abuse. They're the ones that are physically doing the raping. But it is 150 million% the police, the council, the social services, the schools, all of them have as big a part to play in all this that's going on than the Pakistanis themselves. Because they're not, if I made a phone call right now and said, I'm sitting with someone that's just told me she's been raped, I would have a police officer there and they would be doing a hunt for these people. You know, that in my opinion, that's what would happen. These girls are having the courage to tell people what is going on. Of convincing these girls to go to the police and to tell them what's going on to them. And the police are not arresting these people. There is a woman that I met yesterday that told me her daughter came out and told her that that these abuse had happened. She found out that all these things had happened to her. She contacted the police came round, they took all this information off her. 2 years down the line, it took them to arrest someone. 2 years. And there was 3 people involved in this case. 3 Pakistani men were involved in this case. It took them 2 years to arrest these 3 people. When these were arrested, one of them was already in jail for a previous girl that he'd raped and abused. Okay, so he was in prison. The other one, okay, was bailed and is still walking around, to a point where the victim family members are seeing this man walking around the town, and I'm not going to say who in the family, but there's people in her family that he has seen, and they have threatened them. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. This you know, and the police are not safeguarding any of these girls. They are dealing with this on their own, and the Pakistanis men that are doing this, they know that. They know that they're getting away with it. Put it this way, if I told someone that was watching this live stream now, if you went in that house over there and you burgled that house, and I promise you're never going to get arrested for it, and they came out of the house and never got arrested, and the following week I said, you can go back to another house and do the same thing, they're going to do it. If you don't break the cycle of not arresting these people, how are you ever going to stop this revolving door? The police are as much to blame for what is happening to these young girls as well as these Pakistanis. The Labour Council that is in place in Telford, okay, is as much to blame as the police and the Pakistanis. The schools are as much to blame. The schools are not picking up on young girls at 11 years old coming with love bites on their necks, not reporting things to parents. So this mother had to find out all this information after her daughter was dead. All this information came out that she never knew about. That if she'd have known about, these things could potentially not have happened to her. Right, I've written some stuff down that I need to go. I don't want to start waffling, so I want to just talk to you what. So what I went up there for in the first instance was to talk to this charity about this charity event. we've pretty much got the go ahead to do this charity event. This charity event is going to be huge. Okay, Tommy has funded me to get to Telford. He's very much involved in this. He's got a lot of things going on himself, and and things are going to be said from his side when the time is right. I am going to be organising a huge charity event, a boxing charity event with professional fighters, semi-professional fighters coming in and giving a huge night to everyone involved. I want 5,000 people. Sorry, I want 5,000 people there, and we're going to make sure that the things that I've been... these guys haven't got any funding whatsoever. They've contacted the council. The council have said no. They've contacted all sorts of people. No one's helping them. No one's helping them. They're all saying that that they can't afford the funding. The funding's not in place. They're short of funding already. So they know that they've got a problem, but they're not willing to help anyone that's willing to help. So the next part of this would be for us to come together. I'm gonna produce you a list of what this charity believes that they need in place to help develop themselves and to safeguard these children, and not just these children from that are happening to now, but children that it's happened to before. Referrals that are being made based on counselling sessions. They're being referred 6 months down the line. They're still not hearing nothing. These girls, these boys, these victims of abuse, they need help now. Okay, they want to have places like a shop front. They want a shop front in the middle of town with their big sign at the front of it, so anyone can walk in from the town. You know, women, the families can walk in, drop-in centre, can chat. There'll be rooms at the back that if you want to go and have a private chat and you want to get, have a chat with someone, you can do that. They want to fund counselling sessions, so a counsellor to come in 3 times a week and sit with them and do all these counselling sessions, because they are relying on the council, on the social services and on the police. We have to make these people irrelevant, so that we, the people, take control. Because all they're doing is they're asking for these funding, asking this help, and they're not getting it. Everything that they can produce to them... Sorry, someone rang me. So the support that they require, it needs funding. Okay? Counsellors, premises, safe houses, equipment, cameras. They want to walk around at night time and talk to these girls that are on the streets and make them aware of what's going on and where not to go and what not to do. And at the moment, they haven't got the features, the cameras, the high vis. They need all this stuff. There's ideas of having watches where you press the watch for 3 seconds at the top of it and it sends an alert to your family at home that something's wrong. And if the watch is taken off, again, an alert goes to the family. Now, we have to understand that for this to change, it's not just about helping the charity out. We have to change the dynamics of how the police are operating. They are not... When the mother is ringing the police and saying, my girl is missing, she's not... I don't know where she is. I know that something's going on. They're not going out and looking for her. All right, they're not doing anything. They're really, really not. And the council, they are not helping these girls. They're not placing them anywhere. They're not putting them anywhere. They are literally leaving into their own devices for these parents and everyone to try and sort them out themselves. And the whole concept of the support that should be there from the police, from the councils, and from everyone is not there. But people need to understand this dynamic of these gangs. This is power related. They love having the power over these young girls, the power of the money. Do you know how much they charge for a girl? Do you know how much they charge for a 13, 14, 11, 12-year-old girl? Unprotected sex with a 12-year-old or that young, £200. If you want to sleep with this young girl with no condom on, it's £250. Now, we're being told that these girls are being passed around per night at 50, 60 men a time. Now, you do the maths. You do the maths. If you're charging £250 per time for these girls, and they're being abused by 50 men each, say there's 5 girls, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. And I've even got a feeling that people might even be paid off. There is a lot more to this than we think. These are not just paedophiles that are going out and trying to target girls for their sexual gratification. It's not just that. This is a business, and it's a business network that is in every single city in this country.
Every single city. That's why the networks, they say they were taken from here to here to here to here, because they're all networked. They sell the drugs that the girls are given. They sell the drugs that the men, before they rape the girls, are given. They run the taxi firms to put these girls around the country. They run the taxi firms. They run the areas, the violent crime. They run that. We've been told by various people that have no connections to each other that the Pakistani men are running the north of England. In these cities, things like this, the Pakistanis are running everything. We have to come together. We have to raise a load of money for this charity, for enable them to develop themselves by this charity event, and we're gonna give them a website. We're gonna give them the tools, all these logistical tools, online and offline, with places for them to have a shop front. All these things need to happen. Okay, I'm going to release the date of the charity event. It's not going to be very soon. It's going to be in the new year. So it gives everyone an opportunity to get over Christmas and get everything. But I need every single one of you to support this, because this is what it comes down to. These charities are not being given the funding to do anything. They're not. They're not getting any funding to do anything. And the police are not arresting or prosecuting these men. So if they're not arresting and prosecuting them, they're getting away with it. If they get away with it, they'll continue to do it. And they are continuing to do it. It's happening today. The day that I was there, yesterday when I was there, before I left, 2 separate women, not connected. They never met each other. One turned up at one time and the other turned up at another time. Never met each other. One of the girls mentioned that last night a girl had come to them, given some information that there's a house that's being used for these young girls, they're trafficking these young girls. So this house, okay, and it's all blacked out and all this. And then the woman across the table went, "Oh my God, I heard about this 3 days ago. Is it off this road, off this road?" They went, yeah. So even 2 people that they're not connected and from different parts of Telford are hearing about these places. And yet the police are doing nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Right now, what we need to do is we need to enable these charities to have the strength and the power financially to do whatever they would need to do to make sure that the pressure is put on the police and the councils, and that they don't rely on these people for counselling sessions to be able to give these girls. They want to even afford lawyers. So when girls come to them and give them all the evidence, that they can sit with a lawyer and say, right, now we can go to the police. Now we've got all this. Now a lawyer said we've got enough that will definitely get us a prosecution. Now we can go to the police. There's so many things that need to be talked about. There's so many different things that I need to talk to Tommy about, and there's so many different things that we need to do. But please remember, when this charity event is launched, I need every single one of you to get behind it, because this will enable this charity and the committee to go and develop themselves and to safeguard these children. Every single step that they have talked about, the mothers that have lost their children due to child abuse, due to grooming, due to these Pakistani mafia gangs, said if these charities were in place with the things that they want to do, they reckon they would have been able to turn to these charities, and they think that these things wouldn't have happened to their young girls. So if we're going to safeguard these young girls for the future to come, and for our generation and the generation after us to be safe from these gangs, Pakistani gangs, we need to come together. I'll be releasing the date over the next couple of days. I want to talk to Tommy about everything before we start releasing anything, and I want to get his views on everything, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to see him on Sunday, and hopefully we're going to be able to talk over everything. But please understand what I'm saying to you. Everything you think you know about these gangs is not right. This is a mafia-style operation. These girls are being trafficked through the whole of the United Kingdom through a mafia-style system. And the reason that they are now not that it's not above ground is because they've gone underground. They've worked out the tactics. They know why people have been sent to prison. They know this guy went to prison because of this evidence. So they're making sure the mattresses and the sofas and all this that they're using to rape these girls on, they're removing from the houses. They're not leaving the condoms behind. They're making sure that if they use a car to traffic the girls, they get rid of the car. They're working on making sure that it's underground. We have to act now. In the next few months, we have to act. And we will be putting, and I'm sure Tommy will be doing the same, we will be putting the pressure on the police. We're going to put the pressure on the police and the councils and the social services. They need to reform. They need to reform. When these girls are going to court and they're sitting in front of a judge and they're explaining what's happened to them, they are then having to go, if there's seven defendants that have violently raped these young girls, these girls are having to sit through what they're talking to their barrister in front of the jury about, and then every single one of those barristers individually is going at these girls, interrogating these girls. I put it to you, you're lying. He didn't take you there, did he? I've got record here that in 2011 you lied to a police officer, said you didn't know these men. Of course she didn't say that, because she was scared at that point, because these gangs said they'd gang rape her sister, her mother, burn her house down if she spoke about it. Of course she's going to lie. And they are actually making these court cases, abandoning these court cases, because they are putting so much pressure on 13-year-old girls. How could you put a 13-year-old girl on the stand and allow 7 professional barristers to interrogate them individually? Once, done. Next guy comes up, done. They are emotional. So these girls are having the courage to come to court, and they're getting all this abuse off all these barristers. There's legislation for child convictions, with convictions towards children, needs to change. The legislation, when you deal with a child, when you're dealing with a child, you can't have barristers doing what they're doing, because they are undermining everything that's going into this. But the thing I need to take away from this, it's the police, it's the councils, and it's the social services that have as much to blame for what's going on. And I've heard this from all the dots link up. Every single person that I spoke to, no one was connected. They were all different families from all different areas. They all said the same thing. The police are not doing their job, the council are not doing their job, and the social services are not doing their job. And they're allowing these gangs year after year to grow and grow and grow, because they're never being arrested. They're never, the people that we see being arrested, they're 5%. They're 5% of actually the girls, the men that are actually doing this to these girls. So we're going to need to work together, get this charity event a complete success. 5,000 people there's going to be enough for. There's going to be Tommy's going to be the main guest, with people like hopefully Gerard Batten and all these other people from the charity or the committee. Everyone's going to be there. We're going to have a set out complete VIP style day for everyone, and it's going to raise a load of money for them to go on and develop themselves. The committee have full control over the money. We don't touch any of the money. Everything goes to them. It's got to be transparent. Everyone's got to know what's going on, but that's all going to come out at a later date. Next couple of days it'll all be about when the event is, where it's going to be, and then I'm going to start putting things in place where people can buy tickets. We're thinking about £25 a head for a ticket. 5,000 people, 25, you're talking a lot of money for these guys to go away and develop themselves. And then they want to mirror that in different places. They want to take the idea that's worked in Telford and they want to put it there, and get a network of these charities working 9 till 5, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, making sure that these guys have got continuous pressure on them so they cannot go out and rape young girls. That's it for today, guys. I'll give you, I need to shut off for at least a couple of days and just get my head around it, and the next couple of days we'll release the details about the charity event. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks very much for listening, guys, and please share the video. People need to know the seriousness of what's going on. These are Pakistani mafia style gangs. This is not just about the girls, this is about the money and the power, and when you have money and power you can't stop. And when people like me go to these places, my life was in danger when I was there, and it's very, very important that we put pressure on the police, the social services and the councils for allowing this to happen. Take care, guys.